Good afternoon, everyone. In today's class, we are going to talk about types and trait approaches to personality. So let's start by first looking into the type approaches to personality. See, psychologists believe in this approach are of the opinion that people can be divided into different types, right? So there are many psychologists who are of this opinion. Okay, opinion, what opinion? That people can be divided into different types of personality. Understand? So one of the philosopher who actually talk about the four temperaments or the four human, and these four humors acts as a base on classifying the personality type of a person. So this the name of this person is Hippocrates. As you can see in the slide, this is the picture of Hippocrates. He was a Greek physician who was popularly known as the father of medicine. So he was the one who explained about the four temperaments, which we will be discussing in a few minutes. Okay, and this type approaches tries to explain or attempts to explain human personality. Okay, so these approaches which we are about to discuss, they will help you and me realizing or able to identify or able to commence or able to observe the different personality that human being have or carried with them. It can be genetically, socially, etc. So in this way, we let us moving ahead and see how these approaches, these type approaches are able to explain the personality of the person. So let's see now the type approaches to personality. The four humor based personality type. So these are the four humor based personality type that I'm talking about. So the ancient Greeks between 2000 BC to 0 AD classified four types of humors in people based on excess of one of the bodily fluids. So Hippocrates describes the four temperaments. So during those time, or during Hippocrates times, Hippocrates describes the personality of a person based on the four temperaments, and these four temperaments are classified on the basis of the excess of the fluid that is there in the body of the person, right? So let's see one by one first. The first one is sanguine. Okay, so according to Greeks, the sanguine type has a particularly abundant supply of blood and also in characterized by a healthy look and rosy cheek. The sanguine type is cheerful and optimistic. So according to them, okay, that means according to the Greek people, so the sanguine type, they have abundant. When I say abundant, I mean much supplies of blood. Okay, and since they have a lot of blood in them, and therefore they are saying that those people who have this bodily fluid, and this fluids means blood. Okay, so that means they can be a person who is healthy, they look healthy, and they have a rosy cheeks. And these type of people who have abundant supply of blood, they are quite cheerful and optimistic compared to other types of people. Okay, so next one is phlegmatic. Phlegmatic people are characterized by their slowness, laziness, and dullness. These people are thought to be kind of cold, and shaking hands with one is like shaking hands with a fish. They are cold and wet. So these people, they are very cold, very soft, and very slow in their work, in whatever they do, right? And that therefore they say that when you shake their hand, it's like shaking the fish. Okay, so compared to sanguine are more cheerful or more optimistic compared to sanguine are more cheerful and optimistic compared to phlegmatic. The next one is choleric. Choleric type is characterized by a quick and hot temper, often an aggressive nature. Physical feature of the choleric person include a yellowish completion and tense muscle. They are warm and dry. Okay, so these type of person who have um, a yellowish complexion. Okay, like yellowish complexion. So these kind of person, they are very hot tempered. That means they get angry very fast, and at the same time they are warm and dry, but mostly they are in a nature of aggressiveness. Okay, that means all the time they do used to get angry for a silly thing, for a small thing. So these, if you see any type of person who get angry all the time, that means they are choleric type. The next one is melancholic. So the melancholy people tends to be sad. Okay, they tend to be sad, even depressed, and take a pessimistic view of the world. And these people have black pink and cool personality. Okay, so melancholic, most mostly people who are of this type, they tends to be sad even for a very small thing, and tends to go into depression very fast if anybody hurts him, anybody take advantage of him, and they always in the world of pessimistic. Compared to sanguine, they are optimistic, and these melancholic, they are pessimistic people. When I say pessimistic people, I mean people who are always in a negative uh direction. That means like if they see these people, okay, all these people is not good, like they are always in the world where they see things in a negative way. Yeah. So, but at the same time, also they have a very cool personality. So this is the image showing the four temperaments. Okay. The concept of personality has been studied for at least 2000 years. Okay. Beginning with Hippocrates. Okay. Hippocrates is not the only person who study about personality. There are lots of psychologists, many researchers that they work on personality. They try to find out the you know the reason behind our personality and so on. So Hippocrates during this time, he explained that personality types and human behaviors are based on four separate temperaments associated with four flutes. Okay, so Hippocrates, what did he trying to do? He tried to explain that the personality type and the human behavior, okay, are mainly based on these four temperaments, okay, associated with four humor. Here is what? Fluids. So here a person who have this fluid, which have an abundance of blood, supply of blood, and that means they have this temperament which is called what? Sanguine. And the element of sanguine is air. And these people who have this temperament, they are quite courageous, optimistic, and brave. Okay, and then the people who have this humor, which is called yellow bile, that can be getting from liver, right? So these people, we can say that they have a temperament of choleric, and the element is fire, which is the hot the sorry the quality is hot and dry. And mostly these people with choleric temperament, they are very short temper and at the same time ambitious. Okay, and those people who have this humor, black biles, okay, black biles from kidneys. Okay, so these people, they have a temperament which is known as melancholy, and they have an element of earth, and they are very cold and dry. So as I told you, and these people, when you shake their hand, it's like shaking the hand of the fish, or I mean sorry, touching the fish. They're very cold. You must see that very soft. I think you must have come across those people who are very soft. When you touch the hand, it's very soft, and also at the same time they are very introspective, very sentimental, very, like that, right? And here is a phlegmatic the one who have a white phlegm, it comes from the lungs. Okay, so they have the temperaments of which is known as phlegmatic, and their element is water, and they are very cold and moist at the same time. And these person are, their view is mostly in the world of pessimistic. They are very calm and at the same time and unemotional, right? You will see some people, even though when someone died or some, they are not that sentimental, they are not that sensitive to a thing, they are very unemotional, they don't cry a lot, They don't react to situation a lot. They remain calm, cool, like that. So they have a very cool personality, these phlegmatic people. So you can have a look by yourself at this slide on the if you are sanguine, then you are most likely to have a life of party and so on. So this thing you can read by yourself. Even phlegmatic also, if you can see, if you are a phlegmatic, you are most likely to possess a steady behavior. You are dependable, polite, and even short-tempered at the same time. So you can read by yourself this one also. Choleric also you can read by yourself. Very dynamic, very self-motivated leader, these people. Melancholy also you can read by yourself. Okay, you will have fun reading this thing and you will be able to know which type you belong to. See, in this slide you will be able to classify what are the strengths of sanguine, what are the strengths of choleric, what are the strengths of phlegmatic, what are the strengths of melancholic. So this also you can read by yourself. Now let's see the classification by Kretschmer, who talks about the three types of personality. That's athletic, asthenic, and picnic. So these are the three types discussed by German psychiatrist whose name is Ernest Kretschmer, and he tried to attempt to explain and correlate body fluid and physical constitution with personality characteristics and mental illness. Okay, so as you can see in this picture, uh, there are three boys there. So let us discuss one by one the types of personality. The first one is athletic. Those who are muscular and tends to be responsive to desirable adjustment were known as the athletic type of personality. As you can see, the middle one here is known as the athletic, since he's a person who are muscular, and these type of people who are muscular in their physical structure, they tends to be more responsive, tends to be more smart, and are able to adjust anywhere in the environment. The second one is asthenic. Those people who are tall but at the same time they are very thin and lean. These kind of people, they are very sensitive towards things or towards any criticism. Okay, the last one is picnic, and these people, as you can see, this person who are in the violet, who wear violet pant here, this person are short and stout, and these type of people who are short, they are very easygoing, and at the same time they are very sociable, very connected with people, and able to connect people or get along with people easily or well. Okay, so these are the three types classified by Kretschmer, who is a German psychiatrist. Now let's see another classification by Sheldon. William Sheldon, who is an American psychologist, identified three main body types, okay, of personality, which he called them as somatotype. So the three different types is endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph. Let's discuss one by one. Endomorphs are those people with a round body and having fat tissue. Okay, and these people, they have the qualities like very positive, such as a relaxed person, a person who can connect well with others, who are able to tolerate, who is very loving and peaceful. So these are the people, okay, the people who have with this body structure, okay, short and round, give, and at the same time having like compared to the other two, they're quite fat, okay, and so these such kind of persons who have this body build, okay, which who are plumpy, so these people are quite kind compared to other two. The next one is mesomorph. This type of personality, they are generally very dynamic, very active, smart, at the same time also aggressive, okay, short temper I would say, and compared to endomorph, they are quite muscular, quite their body structure is fit compared to endomorph, okay, this mesomorph. So the next one is ectomorph. They are very different from the other two. These ectomorph people, they are very quite tight and at the same time fragile, and these people, they have a body structure which is thin, tall, and lean, okay, and they are very delicate, and their muscles are not as strong compared to the muscle of mesomorph or endomorph. Their muscle is quite poor compared to them. Okay, so these people are very introvert, very thoughtful, and these people they are very sensitive at the same time. Okay, so these are the three types of personality discussed by Sheldon. So let's see another classification made by Jung. Okay, so Carl Jung, according to Carl Jung, there are two mutually exclusive attitudes, that is extrovert and introvert. So let us see extrovert. I'm sure you all have heard about this word which is known as extrovert. I'm pretty sure many of your teachers they must have told you about extrovert. They must have mentioned you, or maybe you might know it by yourself. So let's see what is extrovert. What do you understand by extrovert? Let's see. Extrovert people, extrovert are actively involved in the world of people and things. They are socially active and more aware of what is going on around them. They like to be part of groups, communities, and probably places where they get chances to interact. The idea of being alone terrifies them. So let me tell you, Carl Jung, who is a psychologist also, this person, he classified the personality into two types. Okay, and he said that people who are outgoing, who like to interact with people, they falls under this type which is known as extrovert. So extrovert people, as you can see in this picture, always like to hang out, like to have fun, like to go to party, like to move around. He or she doesn't like to be alone in the room, and being alone means it really terrified them. They will try to see where people are, or and especially when they get the chance to interact, when they get a chance to be on stage, to be, they want attention, they need attention. These people, they falls under this type, and such qualities that they carry, you know in them. So according to Jung, he classified as an extrovert type. Okay, the next one is introvert. So Jung, he explained those people who have this quality, like to be alone, like living alone, or reading a book in the inside a room, or trying to sleep, or does not like to interact much with people, doesn't like to be in a group, who always try to move away from the crowd. Such people who have such quality or behavior where they don't like to be around people, so he classified those kind of people into this type which is known as introvert. So remember, Carl Jung, or Carl Jung, whatever you say, these people, I'm sorry, this man, the psychologist, he bring about, or he talks about this two type of personality, that is extrovert and introvert. Now let's discuss the trait approach to personality. Alport proposed that trait may be classified into threefold. So before we go into the different traits of personality proposed by Alport, let us discuss the meaning of trait. What is trait? A trait is a distinguished quality or characteristic possessed by a person. That means a very typical one. Okay, a typical one character possessed by a person, that is trait. That means that trait which is because of that one trait, you know that one trait define the whole personality of a person, I would say like that, right? So let's discuss about those traits. Okay, number one is cardinal trait, number three is central trait, and number three is secondary trait. So cardinal trait is a very extreme one, okay, compared to central trait and secondary trait. So cardinal traits are those traits which actually influence others' behavior. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, he is famous for being a non-violent person. So that non-violent, that trait that he carry, make him famous, make him known to the whole world, right? So that is a cardinal trait. The central traits are those traits which are very common, which everyone possesses, right? Easy, outgoing, smart, active, dynamic, sociable, and so on. So these are known as a central trait. The secondary traits are those traits which are less relevant, less consistent, right? I mean, it keep on changing, right? It keep on changing. These are traits. For example, today you like chicken, tomorrow you might not like chicken, like that, right? It is less consistent compared to cardinal trait, but cardinal trait is consistent and at the same time very stable trait. Okay, so these are the trait proposed by Alport, who is another psychologist, very famous psychologist, who talk about this trait theory or this trait approach to personality. So these trait theory you will be discussing in detail maybe when you reach your master degree. You'll be able to discuss these trait in a very detailed way. So as of now, you just know that there are three traits proposed by Alport, that is cardinal trait, center trait, and secondary trait. Let's see the last trait approach to personality put forward by Raymond Cattle. Raymond Cattle is a psychologist from England, very famous in the 20th century. Cattle saw trait as a very fundamental units of personality that have predictive value about what a person would do in the next situation. And in contrast to Mr. Alport, he felt that traits were back of our biology, and also thought that traits are more of abstract concept compared to what Alport said, that mostly traits are of genetic makeup, right? So here let us discuss about the surface trait. The first one, surface trait. Let us see what is surface trait. Surface trait are those traits which are very obvious, which can be easily identified by a person, right? So that is surface trait. Okay, and these surface traits are also comprised of source trait when they, when they try to make up with other variables in the environment that makes up a surface trait. For example, John is always known as a very good footballer, very smart, dynamic. So those smart, dynamic were the traits of Mr. John, right? Other traits that he possessed are not visible by other people. Okay, the dynamic active is the more visible trait that John carry with them, and that is dynamic and active means dynamic and active is almost the same, is the almost the same meaning. So these traits are known as the surface trait. The next one is source trait. These are actually considered by Mr. Cattle as the building block of personality. Okay, so these traits are the underlying basic factors of the individual. Okay, and they are less visible compared to surface trait. Okay, and appear to underlie several different aspects of behavior. Because of these source trait, a person can become this person whom you don't know, right? So these were the underlying basic, I would say, basic factors of an individual. Okay, and these source traits are more important in describing personality than the surface trait. After extensive research done by Cattle, he found out that approximately there were 16 source traits, that is, warmness, reasoning, emotional stability, dominance, liveliness, social boldness, sensitivity, all these things. So you will learn in detail when you reach higher studies, okay, about these source trait and surface trait. As of now, let's just have a touch of the view put forward by Raymond Cattle on these traits. So Raymond Cattle, he discussed about these two, surface trait and source trait. Okay, whereas Alport talks about what? Alport talks about the the cardinal traits, center trait, and secondary trait. And when we reflect back on the types of personality put forward by uh, Sheldon's, then Hippocrates, right? So they talk about those. Hippocrates talks about the four temperaments. Then Sheldon talks about those body types, somatotypes, right? That is endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph, isn't it? Then John Carlton talks about those two types, which is extrovert and introvert. So these types and trait approach to personality, they try to explain the personality of a person on on which based on these humor, based on the body fluids, based on the temperament, based on the body type structure, body structure, they are able to identify or able to suggest what kind of person this people can be. Okay, so these are the types and traits approach to personality. If you are not able to understand, try to contact me, okay, and tell me that you are still not understanding about this topic. And I'm sorry I'm not able to explain in a very detailed way because I have to think about the MB also. If I have to explain too much, it will take so much of MB in your phone, in my laptop, and so on. I wish there will be offline class, then I will explain again to you about this types and traits approach to personality. So with this, I wind up this types and traits approach to personality. Thank you.